Boot Hill Fence Company offers fencing products for your home or business. Boot Hill Fence Company offers free estimates for your project, fencing installation, gate operators, as well as composite decking. Boot Hill Fence Company has been in business for over 20 years and takes pride in keeping America at work. All Boot Hill Fence Company products are made in the USA, and many offer limited lifetime warranties. Boot Hill Fence Company. They build relationships and partnerships, or nothing at all. Their phone number is 573-204-7250, and their website is boothillfence.com. Underwriting for the morning show with Justin and Meredith Rewind podcast is provided by CC's Pizza. CC's Pizza is located at 221 South Broadview Street in Cape Girardeau. Their phone number is 339-4555. CC's Pizza is open Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. CC's Pizza offers all the pizza, pasta, salad, and desserts you want. CC's Pizza. Their website is ccs.com.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind podcast.
Welcome to the Morning Show on KHIS. Meredith and Justin hanging out with you on your Thursday. How are you?
I am great. It is Thursday, and we are feeling good.
We are feeling wonderful. And we've been talking a lot about that word rewind this week. Seems to be a common thread. As we're talking about that podcast that's out there. If you haven't got the chance to check it out, you can download the new Morning Show podcast and wherever you listen to podcasts. I actually talked to somebody yesterday on the phone, and I was telling them about the podcast, and they said, well, I guess the first thing is I've got to just listen to a podcast. They've never listened to one before. So I had to explain to them, I was like, are you on an iPhone or are you on a Google phone? And then, I had to tell them, go to the whatever app it is that you listen to podcast and just search it, download it, subscribe to it, and it'll just pop right there in a little app for you anytime you want. But anyways, what we've been doing in the rewind thing is we've been going backwards to the, we've been kind of going to the 80s. Today, I want to look a little into the 90s.
Okay.
So we're going to advance a decade into the 90s a little bit and look at some things that were happening back in the 90s. So we're going to like turn back the clock a little. And maybe you can talk a little bit at some point, too, about how fashion has somehow come back from the 90s into the 2019 time. So it's very interesting how things just come back. They were in 20, 30 years ago, and now they're back in again. So anyways, how about we roll with that today?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, so we got some more morning show with some things from the 90s coming up right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith.
Here we
Rewind
are
podcast.
back in the studio. Justin and Meredith here on the morning show talking about all the old things that are back as if they were new.
That's right. So the first one, I found this list that had the top 15 innovations from 1990. And probably not surprisingly to anybody, I would think, the number one thing on the list was the World Wide Web.
Ooh, yes, I remember internet.
Yeah, it says it was actually proposed in 1989, but the web was first launched and used in the early 90s. So, what will we do without the World Wide Web right now?
I can remember we were probably sophomores, when they took us in that computer lab and showed us like a search engine.
Yeah, it says here.
What in the world?
I forgot about one of these, but it says the two of the first known web browsers were Mosaic. I don't really remember that one.
No.
And Netscape Navigator.
I remember Netscape.
I do remember that.
I would say it was like 96 or 97 when we had to do that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because it was, probably 96. I bet it was 96, 95, 96, somewhere in there. When we went into that room and I saw Yahoo for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I remember when our school building started putting computer labs everywhere.
Yeah.
They were just in buildings for typing classes.
Right. Which is funny.
Isn't that crazy?
I know, because we lived in an era where there was typewriters, but we watched that kind of fade off, and then we lived through the old computers and the word processors when we saw the internet come. So we're one of those unique generations. You and I were born as school was going through. We had typewriters, and then we had the internet all at the same time.
I never had a typewriter class, though.
No, but when we were little,
Yeah,
I remember,
that's what people used.
I remember one of the very first science. I think I've told you this. The very first science fair projects I did, I would have been in middle school, like 6th grade. I had to use a type. I remember typing on the typewriter the stuff I was putting on the board. Like I remember typing on a typewriter. So that was whatever year that was.
Or a word processor.
Yeah. But it was before that, So I remember the typewriter and using it. But man, that's crazy. So, anyways, we got some more of the 90s rewind coming up right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
This next one on things from the 90s, I don't know if you remember this or not. I remember it, but I probably wouldn't have, what I should have said. I don't know if I would have listed this one out as some of the biggest innovations of 1990s. One of the largest telescopes in the world, the Hubble Space Telescope, was launched into orbit in 1990.
That is gigantic.
I know. In 1990. Man.
I remember hearing about it, but we were little.
Right. We really were. Now, the next one, number 3 on the list, you'll definitely know, and you use it probably quite a bit. Everyone does now, but just think about how fast this has become a popular thing now and a normal thing in our life. E-commerce. That
came about in the 90s?
Yeah, the concept of e-commerce existed loosely for a few years. It wasn't until the 1990s that modern e-commerce was born. In 1995, both Amazon and eBay launched, and in 1995, I don't know the name of that site, but Amazon and eBay launched in 95. Those are the two main ones that we know that launched in the mid-90s, which completely changed shopping.
Yeah, it was like you could sell anything on there.
I know. How about that?
I never really shopped on eBay.
No, I guess I really didn't either.
I think we were just young enough that we missed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's still around, but
Yeah.
when it was like big and new.
Yeah. It seemed like it came, but then Amazon and then other things came quickly. But okay, I'll do this last one before we take off here. How about this one? PDAs. Before we had smartphones, the little handheld personal assistant little thingies. You remember those?
That's called a PDA?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the PDA. Like the Palm Pilot.
No, I do not remember those.
Remember Palm Pilot?
No.
No?
I mean, I heard about it, but no, I do not remember them really.
Yeah.
I always just used a planner, like a paper planner. I still like making a list.
Yeah. I remember seeing these. I'm looking at a picture of it now. Like, wow, I haven't seen one of those in years. Yeah. So anyways, that came out, looks like in around 92 is when those became popular.
Ooh, we didn't even know what to do with ourselves then.
It is crazy. Hey, we got some more morning show right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
We've been talking about things that happened in the 90s. This whole week we've been rewinding through time a little bit, and part of it is to celebrate the podcast that is out now of The Morning Show, the Justin and Meredith The Morning Show, called The Rewind, which you can get at all the places that you get and download podcasts. So if you're one of those kind of people and you miss The Morning Show, all of you who stop us when we are out shopping or eating or something and say, I missed The Morning Show. What was the quote of the day? What was the word of the day? Now you can listen to it whenever you want.
Just do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
And free.
And so talking about things in the 90s today, I just think it's funny that our oldest daughter, who is in high school, wants to wear all of the fashion that we had when we were in high school.
Yes.
Like it's all back.
I know.
Corduroy and Doc Marten shoes, Birkenstocks, all kinds of things. It cracks me up because fashion cycles so much. And she's like, Mama, why didn't you save all your clothes?
I know.
That is a great question.
Yeah, it is kind
Who
of
knew?
crazy. Who knew? I mean, really, it's like all of that stuff, that whole just, I mean, there's really not much out of fashion from the 90s that are not in right now.
Right.
I mean, 90s, everything is in. I mean, you look at all the movies and everything is like remakes of stuff that happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
And late 80s.
It's wild.
It's kind of crazy. Nostalgic a little bit. So anyways, we've been talking through a lot of different Innovations is the word.
I think it just means we're old because we remember when they were brand new.
Yes. So as I'm naming these off, it is making us feel old.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna do a word of the day after this, but I've got one for you. That one of those next breaks we got coming up that's going to make us both feel very old. But word of the day coming up right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
It's now time for the word of the day on the morning show with Justin and Meredith, which is underwritten by Elder Lind Meats.
This word of the day is, it's kind of, we've heard it in other words. You know, you made the point a minute ago. So when you hear it, you're probably going to hear it within other words. The word is genial. 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 It means favorable to growth or comfort, marked by or freely expressing sympathy or friendliness, or displaying or marked by genius.
Ooh, I like the nice part, the friendly part.
Friendly, sympathy.
Let people know you by how nice you are, how kind you are.
Yes. I mean, how true is it that you can speak, or you can give 1,000 sermons by how you live, more than you can by speaking anything.
That's right.
It's, people see the actions first. So that was a good word of the day. Don't know if we'll use that particular word.
I think everybody should try to use that today, wherever you are.
Yes.
Or at least act it out.
Act it out. Act it out. That'd be the challenge of the day.
Yes.
Act that one out today.
Do something genial, something kind.
Something kind, and have some
friendly
sympathy. There you go. Here's some Austin French, Born Again.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
Welcome back to the morning show on KHIS. Meredith and Justin here with you. And we're talking about Rewind. And that's the Rewind Podcast is the reason why we keep talking about it. But it's been fun all week. We've been rewinding our brains back to things that happened in the 80s and the 90s. And today we've been talking about innovations that have happened in the 90s. We're looking backwards and going, man, what all different things were invented or happened in the 90s? And man, you talk about taking a walk down memory lane. Here's one for you, which I guess people still use them today, but it takes us a step further than one conversation I think we had yesterday. We talked about the VHS yesterday, did we not? Or maybe it was the day before. But did you know that the DVD appeared in the mid-90s?
I think I did know that.
Yeah, it's Superior Picture and Sound.
I remember it coming out, and then everyone was like, you got to get a DVD player. And they were like super expensive at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then like 3 years later, you could get them for $20.
Right. Right. Do you remember the big, ginormous laser disc thing before the DVD came out? I mean, they were like huge.
I have no idea what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
They did not go over very well in the market. I mean, I don't even know if it even lasted a year, but they came out, had a big, huge player that you would put it on this disc. It looked like it was like the same size as a DVD or shape as a DVD player, but it was like 3 times as big. It was huge, and supposedly better quality pictures and all this stuff. It just never took on. Like no one really got them.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're saying.
They're called Laserdisc, I believe. I didn't have one and never. We didn't use them at all, but I just remember that's right before DVDs, and then DVDs came out a little bit after that, and they were very popular. And so now, I guess DVDs are there, but they're, I guess, kind of going out.
Yeah, it took us a long time at my house growing up to even get a DVD player.
Yeah.
And now, no one really uses those.
I know. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
You just like stream it or whatever.
Right. And we have some DVDs at our house, but I don't know the last time we used one.
I know. Isn't that funny?
It's unbelievable.
Do people like buy movies at the store anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know. I see those bins all the time for like, dollar movies and stuff.
That's probably not a good sign.
No, that's not a good sign. Anyways, hey, we got some more morning show coming up right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
Had an awesome opportunity a couple of evenings ago. I had a hair appointment, which, as you ladies know, is like you move everything else in your life to be able to go to the beauty shop on, hair appointment day. And anyway, while I was there, this very kind woman stopped me. And at this point, I had full tinfoil all over my head, which women, I know you totally get that. Because if you get a few highlights like I do, anyway, she just told me, she said about a year and a half ago, that I had spoken to her daughter at that very salon the same night that I was getting my hair done. And I had just encouraged her daughter about something. And I guess the daughter came home and told her about this encouragement. I didn't know her daughter, but anyway, long story short, the mother was just sharing with me the faithfulness of God, that that one conversation that I had with a girl that I didn't really know, and just felt the Lord's prompting and shared that with this girl at that time, ended up being a huge moment of encouragement for her. And it was so nice of her mother to share that, and really just in awe of the Lord and the way he works, because sometimes he lays something on our hearts, and we have to be obedient. We have to take that step to communicate that to people, especially if he's given you, the Holy Spirit's given you that nudge to tell someone something or encourage someone in a certain way. But it made me tear up when I was talking to her, because that was so nice of her daughter to have relayed that message. And then what were the chances that we were back together in the same place, but not with the same girl? It was her mama. And she put two and two together that was me. Anyway,
that's cool.
God is so cool.
That is so cool.
He works out all the details.
That is awesome.
Tells us exactly what to say and who to say it to, and at the right moment.
So good. Just got to trust him. Have some faith. And like you did, take a step of faith and speak into somebody's life. That's so good.
You just never know.
Never know. Hey, we got some more morning show right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
Meredith and Justin back here on the morning show with you, and we've been talking about the Rewind podcast that's out there. You can go download for free, by the way, everywhere you get your podcast, or you can check it out on the app too, by the way. But one thing we've been rewinding and looking back in today we've been looking back at the 90s, and I forgot about the 2G cell phones. Of course, now we're way beyond that now, but back in the 90s, the 2G, if you had a Nokia, you remember that. But I was just reading here about...
I think mine was blue.
Yeah, I think almost everybody's was blue.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or just like a couple of colors?
Yeah, I think you could get they came out with different colors you could put on the front of them. But it says here that 2G service used digital transmission instead of analog, and led to the advent of SMS messaging, or text messaging. So, and it also laid the foundation for 3G coverage and mobile data usage.
That is so funny, because I remember when it was such a big deal that people got like 3G.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was like, whoa.
And now what are we at, like 5G
Man,
or something? I don't
Five
even
is starting
know.
to come out, I guess. Like I think I saw it on your phone when we were in Nashville or St. Louis.
I don't know. As long as my phone works, I don't care what kind of coverage it is.
You need whatever G's you need to
That's right.
make it work.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just thought it was interesting looking back on those phones, those Nokia phones, that people probably remember the little snake game on there. The little snake that would go around.
No.
You don't remember that? Okay.
You know me, I don't play any games.
Everybody else that had one right now is going, yes, I remember the snake game. But that laid the foundation for text messaging. Now, the story I was going to tell, I don't know if I've told this before, but I had a Nokia phone, and I remember specifically, and the internet was brand new. It wasn't like as near what it is today. But a buddy of mine told me there's this website you can go to. If you put in your cell phone number, it'll send you a song. And all they had was beeps, like for your ringer.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like you couldn't, like today's has music. But it was it would just beep the melody.
Yeah.
So I went there and I typed in my phone number, and I was at work. But my cell phone was at my dorm room when I was in college. And that's because, back then nobody carried their cell phone with them.
Right.
But anyway, my roommate, I guess my phone started making noises, and I guess it was early in the morning.
Yes.
And I was at class, and I think I was at the library, and he took my cell phone and threw it in the refrigerator.
He didn't want it to beep anymore.
No, he didn't want it to beep anymore.
That
so
is too cute.
my cell phone was in the refrigerator when I came back later on that day, frozen, completely off. So anyway,
You sent too many songs
I know,
to that phone.
It was kind of like a text message, kind of. Anyway, didn't even know what I was doing. Anyway, hey, we got some more morning show, the devotional, coming up right after this.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
And now it's time for our daily devotional from Jesus Calling for Kids, which is underwritten by Drury Southwest. And today's devotional comes out of Luke chapter 12, verse 24. And it says, "Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than birds." Worrying is the result of imagining a future without me in it. So your best defense against worry is to stay in contact with me, both talking to me and listening to me. Sometimes you do have to think about the future. The key is how you think about it. If you only think about the things that you must do to plan and be prepared, then you'll start to worry. So when you must plan ahead, follow these 2 rules. First, don't spend very much time thinking about the future. The more you think about it, the easier it is to start worrying. And second, always include me in your thoughts. Don't just imagine what you'll do. Imagine what I will do. You can trust me to take care of you today and in the future. Remember how very valuable that you are to me. And that was your devotional today from Jesus Calling for Kids.
The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Rewind Podcast.
It's now time for your quote of the day right here on KHIS. It's underwritten by the Becking Clinic.
Today's quote is by author and speaker Lisa Turkhurst, and she says, "Wallowing in jealous thoughts only leads to death. Death of contentment, death of friendships, death of peace, and certainly death of joy." Be sure to guard your hearts and minds today, friends. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. And that comes from Proverbs 14, verse 30.
So good. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Morning Show with Justin and Meredith. Go check out that podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Stream The Morning Show with Justin and Meredith live every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Central on KHISradio.org.